This is a tutorial on how to make those cute reindeer faces you just saw. This tutorial is brought to you by KZM Bakery, located in Denver, Colorado. To start off for this basic reindeer cookie, first I make the sugar cookie in any size circle that you want. Then I take brown royal icing. I use a number 3 piping tip, but you can use whatever size you feel most comfortable for. And I'm going to focus on filling in the circle, trying to get my icing all the way to the edges. As I get closer into the circle, I really try to keep my icing connected to the outer layer in order to minimize air bubbles. That's going to be most important to get a nice flat base layer for your cookie. As I get right into the middle of the cookie, I'm going to take my little spiky tool and fill in any gaps that I missed when filling in the cookie. This way your base layer is nice and flat. I'm going to make sure my circle is nice and round here, not missing any layer. I like to tap my cookie on any surface that I'm using to make sure the icing's nice and smooth. You'll also see here in a second, I'm gonna tap my cookie on my counter. I find that surface is more firm and just really helps bring any air bubbles up to the surface to make sure that I don't leave any air bubbles hiding below the icing level, and that would create an uneven surface. Once I feel confident that I didn't leave any big air bubbles behind, I'm gonna set it off to the side to dry. I put my cookies in front of a fan, and that's going to firm them over. Next up, we're going to make the face of the reindeer. I use black icing just in a disposable piping bag, and I pipe 2 black eyes, trying to center them in the middle of the cookie. And then I'll take my little spiky tool again, and I'm going to try to form the circle of the eyes at whatever size and shape that I want, but I do my best to make sure that the 2 eyes match. For this icing, I use thicker icing to make sure that the eyes can really hold shape without spreading too far. Once I'm happy with the eyes, I'm going to use the exact same brown icing and pipe the antlers. I just switched the piping bag to a number 1 piping tip in order to get a thinner line and have better control. I go up directly from both eyes, and then I do kind of 3 little branches off to the side. I use a different spiky tool to smooth out the antlers, making sure there's no dips or spikes in them, so that way when I bag them, there's no issues. Then I'm going to do the exact same on the other side. I'm not as good on this side because I was trying to keep my hands out of the camera. Again, I'm going to adjust the antlers to make sure that they're nice and smooth and nothing's poking up. Now to get the nice Rudolph nose, I use, again, red icing in a disposable piping bag where I just cut off the top of the tip just a tiny bit, form a nice round circle, and I use my spiky tool to form a nice round nose. You can do whatever size you want, and I adjust it to make the size that I want it to be and make sure it's as round as possible. Really getting that emphasis on the nose. This last part, I like to make sure my Rudolph gets a nice little smile. So I use the same black icing as the eyes, and I just do a nice little smirk for Rudolph here. After your smile, you are all done, and here is the final result of a nice little Rudolph cookie. Again, here it is.